And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player.
New footage has just gone viral, showing alleged members of Cosa Nostra torturing NBA players for gambling debts. The FBI confirms it's real. What started as whispers of rigged bets has exploded into a nationwide scandal linking the Mafia to professional basketball, and it's worse than what's being reported. The leak that shook the NBA. What if I told you the video you're about to see wasn't from a movie, but from an FBI evidence room? It shows a man tied to a chair, face bloodied, muttering the words, "I'll pay it back." Standing over him are men who, according to investigators, belong to Cosa Nostra, the Mafia's oldest surviving network. And the man in the chair? He's not some street hustler. He's a current NBA player. This clip, now circulating online after a mysterious leak, has ripped the sports world apart. Millions have seen it. Comment sections are filled with disbelief. That's Terry Rozier. No way that's Chauncey Billups. Bros in a mob movie. But as crazy as it sounds, the FBI has confirmed that the faces you're seeing aren't deepfakes. According to federal charging documents, over 30 arrests were made in what they're calling Operation Royal Flush and Operation Nothing But Bet, two parallel investigations that uncovered a network linking NBA insiders with New York's most feared crime families, the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese. Yes, Cosa Nostra, the same mafia dynasty that built its empire on blood, gambling, and silence, is back, and this time they infiltrated professional basketball.
We are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and Cosa Nostra.
That was FBI Director Kash Patel addressing reporters as federal agents marched NBA figures into custody, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier among them. But what he didn't say on camera is what makes this case different. The Mafia didn't just bet on basketball, they owned it. For months, whispers have been circulating, quiet rumors of players throwing prop bets, taking themselves out of games early, or leaking injury info. At first, it sounded like online gossip, but as the investigation unfolded, the details became undeniable. According to reports, federal wiretaps captured over 3,000 recorded calls and meetings, exposing how these athletes became entangled in one of the most elaborate gambling conspiracies in modern sports. When former mob captain Michael Franzese saw the footage, even he was stunned.
Athletes are easy prey. They get themselves in trouble, they owe a debt, and they got to do whatever they got to do to get out of it.
It's chilling, because it's true. The FBI alleges that NBA players didn't just, gamble. They owed the mob money, and when you owe them, there's no next paycheck. There's only repayment or pain. In one leaked FBI affidavit, investigators claimed that members of the Bonanno family hosted private poker nights where NBA players were used as bait. Billups and Jones were what insiders called face cards, celebrities invited to make the games look legitimate, while hidden cameras, X-ray tables, and rigged shuffling machines ensured every victim walked out broke. Those losses, often in the hundreds of thousands, were then laundered through crypto wallets and shell companies. But here's the part that truly rocked the Bureau. The Mafia didn't just invite the NBA into their games, they brought their own violence into the league. According to reports, at least one assault was caught on camera. An enforcer known as Tommy Juice Gilardo beating a man with a baton after a player allegedly refused to repay a gambling debt. The man's name was redacted, but the leaked footage seems to show who it was. The FBI's official line is that they are not at liberty to confirm ongoing evidence, but inside sources have confirmed to multiple outlets that new video evidence was part of the material seized from Gilardo's residence in Queens, New York. And what's in those videos, according to people who've seen them, is disturbing. Players being intimidated, humiliated, made to prove their loyalty to the family, said one law enforcement insider, speaking under condition of anonymity to USA Today. It was straight out of Goodfellas, but with NBA jerseys. Meanwhile, federal agents seized over $11.7 million in cash, crypto, and property across 11 states. The total fraud, tens of millions of dollars, making this the largest sports-linked organized crime bust in modern U.S. history. But to understand how deep this goes, you need to know where it started. Back in March 2023, Terry Rozier, then with the Charlotte Hornets, played just 9 minutes before leaving the game, citing foot discomfort. Within hours, over $200,000 in bets had been placed on his understats, bets that miraculously paid out. Investigators later found messages linking Rozier's childhood friend, De Niro Laster, to mafia intermediaries. That single game became ground zero for what the FBI now calls Operation Nothing But Bet. When asked if this was an isolated incident, FBI Director Patel didn't mince words.
This is the insider trading saga for the NBA. That's what this is.
The Mafia had turned professional, basketball into Wall Street, where the currency wasn't stocks, but player stats. Every fake injury, every early exit, every missed shot was money in someone's pocket. And yet, the most shocking detail hasn't even been aired publicly. Sources close to the investigation revealed that during several private games in 2019, when the rigged poker network began, certain NBA figures were secretly recorded being disciplined after disputes with mob associates. Those tapes, never shown to the public, are now being reviewed by the Department of Justice. And if the leaked clip is one of those tapes, then the world just saw the Mafia do to NBA players what law enforcement couldn't: make them talk. The leak hit social media at 2:43 a.m. Eastern, posted first on an anonymous Telegram channel titled Royal Flush Truth. Within 30 minutes, the same video had been reposted to Reddit, X, and TikTok, racking up nearly 40 million views before breakfast. And almost instantly, the internet went feral. Conspiracy threads exploded. Is that Terry Rozier's voice? Why does the guy sound like Damon Jones begging for mercy? At first, most people thought it was AI. Deepfakes have made us skeptical of everything, but forensic analysts verified the footage's authenticity within 12 hours, citing frame rate data matching a confiscated iPhone 14 Pro logged in the FBI's evidence manifest under Gallardo, Queens, 2025. That phone, recovered during the October 23rd raids, contained 27 videos recorded over a 2-year span, some in dim basements, others in luxury hotel rooms. And in at least 3 of them, agents confirmed the presence of NBA athletes recognizable by voice and tattoos. The public only saw 20 seconds, but investigators have described hours of coercion, men being forced to sign documents, record apologies, or agree to throw future bets. The mob didn't just threaten, they documented everything. It was leverage for the next game, the next season, the next payoff. According to reports, the FBI first discovered the footage while executing a search warrant tied to Operation Royal Flush, a probe initially focused on rigged poker games. What they found instead was a trove of digital evidence linking the Mafia's tech networks to encrypted gambling servers hosted offshore, servers that processed prop bets tied directly to NBA matchups.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games, and in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts.
That current player, officials later confirmed off-record, was Jonte Porter, the same man who'd been banned for life in 2024 for leaking team data. Porter had become the investigation's Rosetta Stone, his old text threads connecting NBA locker rooms to bookmakers, then to digital wallets traced to Gambino accounts. Once the Bureau mapped that web, everything unraveled. Federal analysts reconstructed $68 million in suspicious betting patterns stretching from Las Vegas to crypto exchanges in Malta. Each payout followed the same pattern. Legal wagers placed on U.S. sportsbooks then laundered through peer-to-peer crypto transfers and finally consolidated into shell accounts registered to fake tech startups. One LLC, TriPoint Gaming Solutions Inc., listed a Brooklyn P.O. box belonging to Nelson Spanish G. Alvarez, a longtime associate of the Bonanno Family Newsweek report. Behind the digital curtain sat 4 names the FBI knew all too well: Ernest Aiello, Joseph Lanny, Thomas Tommy Juice Gallardo, and Anthony Ruggiero Jr., each representing a different family, each taking a percentage. By late 2024, agents from the Eastern District of New York had built 2 parallel task forces, one for sports betting, Operation Nothing But Bet, another for poker rigging, Operation Royal Flush. Together, they coordinated surveillance across 11 states, following money, phones, and movement.
Our office conducted a massive nationwide takedown from 2 indictments of 34 defendants for their alleged involvement in 2 separate illegal poker and sports betting schemes where, as you heard, the odds were rigged in their favor.
At 5 a.m. on October 23rd, simultaneous raids hit Houston, Miami, Portland, Las Vegas, and multiple New York boroughs. Billups was arrested at his Lake Oswego home. Rozier was taken into custody outside a luxury condo in Orlando. Jones was caught in Las Vegas, reportedly mid-phone call with a bookmaker. Authorities seized $11.7 million in cash, 18 luxury vehicles, and dozens of crypto wallets. In Portland, agents found a small black briefcase containing marked playing cards, contact lenses tinted for invisible ink, and a burner phone labeled Royal. Inside the phone's gallery, clips from those so-called discipline sessions. When U.S. Attorney Joseph Nocella Jr. stepped to the podium, his words landed like a knockout.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out.
As with most cases we've worked, this is only the tip of the iceberg for the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. Members and associates of the 5 families cannot continue to wreak havoc.
The Bureau knows this story isn't finished. More subpoenas are out. More names are circulating privately within federal circles. And according to reports, agents are now pursuing digital fingerprints, tracking every suspicious bet, every shared location ping from players to known mob associates. For the NBA, the fallout is existential. Teams are scrambling to audit player phones, sponsorships, and even group chats. Broadcast partners are re-evaluating ad buys from betting companies, and fans are left asking the question no league wants to face. If the Mafia can fix the numbers on a stat sheet, what else can they fix? Because if the footage is real, and all evidence suggests it is, then professional basketball just became the Mafia's newest casino. Only this time the house always wins. But the footage was only the surface, a glimpse into something far bigger. Because what the FBI uncovered next wasn't just about one video, it was about a digital empire, one where the Mafia didn't just gamble on the game, they became the game. Inside Operation Royal Flush, how the Mafia rebuilt itself through basketball. By the time Operation Royal Flush went public, the FBI had already mapped a digital organism, one that looked less like the mob of the 1970s and more like a startup incubator. Each of the four major families, the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese, had rebranded themselves for the 2020s. They no longer hid in smoky back rooms. They hid behind shell corporations, betting APIs, and cryptocurrency nodes. According to reports, the families seeded over 50 small analytics companies in New York and Miami. Their software scraped real-time player data, injury reports, and betting odds. Valuable intelligence later traded inside encrypted signal channels labeled fantasy metrics. Each Mafia clan played a distinct role in the operation. The Bonanno family handled the front end, setting up legal betting affiliates and channeling ad revenue through influencer campaigns to keep the money clean. The Gambinos acted as the enforcers turned financiers, managing offshore wallets and overseeing crypto conversions. Meanwhile, the Genovese family took charge of bookmaking logistics, developing algorithms that tracked player tendencies, missed free throws, early substitutions, even fatigue patterns to predict outcomes with eerie precision. Finally, the Lucchese family managed collections and so-called compliance, ensuring that unpaid bets were swiftly and often forcefully resolved. The Bureau called it a criminal consortium disguised as fintech. To the mob, it was simply business evolution. They realized the legalization of sports betting had turned integrity into a commodity. The NBA and its ocean of statistical data became a marketplace where outcomes could be predicted, nudged, or purchased. Each possession on the court had a price tag. When gambling apps exploded in 2020, the families saw opportunity. If millions of casual bettors could legally wager from their phones, why not seed a few insiders to guide those odds? Through intermediaries, they recruited low-level data analysts from sports tech firms, paying them to leak advance information about maintenance days, minor injuries, or substitutions. A single-hour early leak could shift a line by 2 points, worth millions. According to Forbes Sports Money, FBI cyber agents later traced over 1,200 Ethereum transactions linked to those leaks. Behind the numbers was an ancient principle: control the flow of information, and you control the outcome. The story of Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier reads less like a crime script and more like a cautionary tale of modern celebrity. Billups's reputation was gold-plated: Finals MVP, mentor, coach. But away from the cameras, he loved high-stakes poker. In 2018, he met a charming gaming consultant named Vin Cortese, a Bonanno associate operating luxury tournaments for charity. Those events promised glamour, philanthropy, and privacy. According to reports, Billups's first game raised money for youth programs. His second raised questions from the IRS. The buy-ins doubled, the champagne flowed, and the house cut quietly crept from 5% to 20%. Billups wasn't the only one seduced. Damon Jones, long retired but still networked within the league, joined as a host. His role: bring athletes to the table. He texted them friendly invitations. Private game, no press, all pros. Soon his contact list was worth more than his NBA pension. The Gambinos called this the face card pipeline. Every star who showed up lent legitimacy. Every photo taken built marketing collateral for the next mark. Rozier entered the picture later, in 2023, when an off-season charity gala in Miami featured a casual hold'em room. According to reports, Rozier won big early, posting about it on Instagram. Within weeks, anonymous bettors began tailing his games. The odds on his assists, rebounds, and minutes shifted inexplicably before tip-off. When the league's integrity monitors flagged the pattern, Rozier brushed it off. But privately, texts later recovered by the FBI showed messages from a contact saved as Uncle G. Your family now. Just keep the info flowing. We protect our own. That phrase, we protect our own, would later appear verbatim in multiple wiretaps across families. It was both promise and warning. By mid-2024, Rozier's debts had grown. Not catastrophic, but enough for the Luccheses to call in a sit-down. He flew to New York for what he thought was a sponsorship pitch. Instead, the meeting shifted tone. Words like obligation Obligation, respect, and loyalty filled the air. No one threatened him directly, they didn't have to. He left the restaurant pale, phone switched off, flying home first thing in the morning. That night, he messaged Jones, "They don't play games, bro." The deeper investigators dug, the clearer the pattern became. A seamless cycle of control built on 4 steps: information, debt, leverage, and compliance. It started with data, quietly gathered and analyzed to identify vulnerabilities. That information was then used to create debt, which in turn became leverage. And once leverage was established, compliance naturally followed. When players struggled to settle their markers, the families offered help. Loans came from investment clubs with friendly names, Athlete Advisory Group, Provision Holdings. Repayment came through influence, a benching here, a missed free throw there. It was subtle enough to escape broadcast commentary, yet precise enough to move betting lines by fractions. In one intercepted call documented in the federal affidavit, a Genovese operative bragged, "We don't need to fix the whole game, just the margin." The Mafia had learned from the 1950s point-shaving scandals. Blatant losses raised suspicion, but micro-manipulations were invisible in a sea of stats. Meanwhile, the FBI's cyber task force installed silent watchers inside popular betting platforms. Algorithms flagged unusual bet clusters, sudden surges on obscure props like first turnover committed or player X under 2.5 threes. Each cluster traced back to burner accounts that shared geolocation data with addresses tied to known associates.
They placed wagers on unders on players to score less, rebound less, assist less, using information that was not yet public. In some instances, players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out.
Then came the breakthrough, a recorded conversation between 2 gamblers discussing audio insurance. Agents decoded it as a reference to blackmail recordings, the leverage tapes already seized from Gallardo's devices. It confirmed what investigators suspected. Fear was the enforcement tool, but secrecy was the weapon. When those conversations hit the prosecutors' desks, the Department of Justice shifted gears from gambling charges to RICO. They weren't chasing individual crimes anymore. They were dismantling an enterprise. Beyond fear, there was another currency keeping the system alive: favors. Players introduced friends to investors, secured tickets, or arranged appearances. Each small courtesy created mutual obligation, a psychological IOU that blurred legality. Sociologists call this soft corruption. The mob calls it respect. Once you owed a favor, you were in the family's orbit, even if you never placed a bet. That dynamic trickled upward. Event planners, PR managers, even assistant coaches found themselves intermediating between athletes and benefactors. Every layer added deniability and distance until the FBI collapsed it all in a single morning of coordinated arrests. As the dust settles, the basketball world waits for the next shoe to drop. Insiders whisper that sealed indictments include 2 active players and 1 front office executive. The NBA has launched its own inquiry, but critics argue it's damage control. Betting partners are scrambling to distance themselves, yet their logos still flash courtside. The same Telegram channel that leaked the original footage has now teased Part 2 of the Truth Files. No one knows what's in it. Audio, emails, maybe more video. But if the first leak set off a firestorm, the next could burn down the house. In federal offices from Brooklyn to DC, agents are preparing their next move. By the time the FBI went public, the damage was done. The raids, the indictments, the names, they were only the beginning. Because what came next wasn't a cleanup, it was a reckoning, one that would shake the league, the media, and the nation's faith in fair play. The fallout, the NBA's reckoning, and the Mafia's return. The morning after the arrests, the NBA's official channels went silent. No press release, no tweet, just a void. A silence so loud it felt strategic. By the second day, that silence cracked. The league issued a single paragraph. "We are cooperating fully with federal authorities." It sounded sterile, bureaucratic, the kind of line you release when the house is already burning and the insurance adjuster's on hold. But outside that corporate calm, the storm had already begun. Cable news seized the story before the FBI even finished booking suspects. Sports anchors who had spent the past year promoting same-game parlays were now shaking their heads on camera, feigning disbelief. Public reaction was split between outrage and exhaustion. Fans flooded social media with screenshots of betting slips, memes of mobsters in NBA jerseys, and long threads dissecting which games might have been touched. Within 48 hours, hashtags like "Nar NBA Betrayal" and "Amber Royal Flushgate" trended across X, TikTok, and Reddit. While the FBI tightened its grip, the families adapted. Gone were the flashy poker nights and influencer events. In their place, quiet investments, logistics companies, real estate trusts, and data hosting startups. Federal analysts called it economic retaliation, not violence, but consolidation. They started buying silence instead of enforcing it. Witnesses recanted. Contractors vanished into consultancy jobs. Money kept flowing, only now through legitimate channels that investigators could barely trace. According to the Wall Street Journal, seized documents revealed new shell firms in renewable energy and esports, safer fronts, cleaner optics. It was the mafia's classic survival trick. Go quiet, go corporate, wait for America to forget. But the FBI wasn't forgetting. Emboldened by public support, they expanded the investigation under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. The next phase, Operation Fast Break, targeted the money men, bankers, accountants, and data brokers who had turned a blind eye. Behind the scenes, agents collaborated with Interpol to trace cross-border crypto transfers. Files shared with Europol suggested the same wallets funding NBA bets were also backing illegal streaming services and online casinos in Europe. What began as a sports scandal was morphing into a global financial crime case. Prosecutors privately called it RICO 2.0, an upgraded model for the digital age. Instead of extortion and racketeering, the charges centered on algorithmic manipulation and data laundering. The scandal hit at a cultural crossroads. Gambling had become mainstream entertainment, part of pre-game shows, podcasts, even fantasy league TikToks. Now, fans who once bragged about their parlays felt complicit. Opinion columns questioned whether legalization had gone too far. The Atlantic argued that when every fan is a bettor, every play becomes suspect. Barstool commenters who once joked about fixes now demanded lifetime bans. Even Vegas, the original Sin City, sensed a chill. Casinos issued statements distancing themselves from online affiliates. The press couldn't resist feeding on itself. Late-night hosts mocked the "see no evil" coverage. Investigative journalists began tracing the financial umbilical cord linking media conglomerates to betting platforms. ProPublica's report revealed that at least 3 major sports networks held equity stakes in gambling startups they were simultaneously covering. The result was cognitive dissonance. TV segments condemned corruption between commercial breaks funded by the same industry. The outrage wasn't about morality, it was about lost revenue streams. Meanwhile, whispers from law enforcement painted an unsettling picture. Even as indictments piled up, the vacuum left by the arrest will invite new contenders. Decentralized crews, former analysts, offshore bookmakers. Old names will fade and new ones will emerge. The FBI will be forced to expand its cybercrime division, recruiting data scientists and behavioral economists alongside traditional agents. The new war on organized crime isn't fought in alleys, it is fought in code. The FBI calls its mission ongoing. The NBA calls it a learning moment. The public calls it what it is, a wake-up call for an age where entertainment and exploitation share the same feed. So the next time a commentator reads live betting odds beneath a highlight reel, remember this story, the one where greed met technology, where loyalty had a price and where the line between sport and scheme disappeared. Because if they can fix the NBA, what else are they fixing? If you enjoyed this video, you can watch similar content by clicking on the boxes playing on your screen.